Carry on. Commissioners, your meeting is live.
Okay, well, welcome to the January 15th meeting of the Riley County Commissioners. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comment?
Good morning, Commission. Jacob Hansen, Riley County Councilor. Just coming up to ask that we amend the agenda to add an executive session during my administrative time. And that executive session is for personnel matters of non-elected personnel.
Do we have a motion to amend?
Move to add the executive session or amend the 9:30 time to an executive session.
I'll second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to amend the administrative time for the counselor to an executive session. All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll go to commission comments. Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, sorry for missing the last two meetings, but it's been a little rough here. So trying to get on the mend here from illness. So I'm still probably not 100%, but doing a lot better, to say the least. Yesterday afternoon, I did attend the January National Teams Call with NACO's Community Economic and Workforce Development Committee. After some opening remarks and welcomes from our chair, Angela Connolly, commissioner from Hennepin County, Minnesota. We heard from Patrick Spence, the Economic Mobility Program Manager at NACO. Really good presentation, had a lot of really good information. I'm gonna I bookmarked it to go back and check that out when I get caught up on everything. Then next we heard from Jared Grigas, our Associate Legislative Director for the committee at NACO, gave us a legislative update for Capitol Hill. As you can imagine, there's lots going on there right now too, as they're fighting another deadline for a potential government shutdown. And lastly, we had an open forum for just some general discussion, updates, events towards the end of the meeting. We're going to have a special meeting to discuss some 2026 policy resolutions. That will be part of the discussion at the 26th Legislative Conference taking place in Washington, D.C. at the end of February. Then last night, I didn't realize I have it. I'm going to have to pay for it as part of a Hulu subscription, but I get Peacock. So last couple of K-State games have been on there. So a lot of people are mad about that because it's like $70 for the subscription or something by itself. So NBC, going to make up the difference there. Anyway, the game wasn't really all that much. Cats lost again. I think they've lost 4 in a row. Start out going for more Big 12 play. So I guess isn't baseball season yet. Use part of Monday evening too to get caught up on some correspondence. Tuesday to go back through our agendas and check out the YouTube live stream just to try to get caught up on everything. Got a ways to go yet. Still long weekend once again, so it should be okay. That's about all I got.
Okay, Commissioner McKinley.
Well, Tuesday afternoon was construction update on the PM fire building. Paving's all done, the concrete floors inside are done, really primary concrete work left is the storm shelter on each side. They got most of the interior walls framed out, and the question came up about the fire sprinkler system architects can have to look into. And then Tuesday evening, the fire advisory board, reorganization of them, that the ambulance have been reviewed in December and had a discussion then, but I think with some time to think it over, there was a lot more questions brought up to look at. It was a long discussion, but staff was able to answer their questions as they got everything solved. And there's also discussion about fire relief fund. To check out the kind of people know that it's mostly funded by state grant, but it provides life insurance for the firemen while they're on the job. If something happens, and also there's a retirement benefit based on how many years they've had which is nice, a nice benefit. And that's all I can.
Okay. Well, let's see, Monday afternoon, I did attend the county officials luncheon. Several presentations were made and discussed. Tuesday, I had a personnel committee at my church. It's my last one of a 2-year finished, which is good. Afterwards, I stopped into our space over at the CPE building, check on paint color in my office. It looks great. They've got the base coat on. They need another coat of paint.
So they must be getting pretty close to being done.
Well, it's still, they still have the lighting, we're still in boxes and all that stuff, but that shouldn't be true. But all the basic stuff is pretty much done and carpet's the end of the month.
Okay.
So it's coming together. It's looking pretty good. So really excited. So anyway, and then I stopped into the county counselor's office, speak with Jacob. Sounds like we're close to going out to bid on the Keats project. Yeah, so we should know here pretty soon. So and we're going to be having a community meeting in February to go over everything with the community. And then later that afternoon, I tried to zoom into a workforce meeting in Chanute, but couldn't get it to come up on my home computer, so I missed that. So I'm working with Vivian this morning trying to figure it out. Let's see, Wednesday morning and afternoon, I was down here at the EMS building on the selection team for a consultant for the FCIC and Health Department building spaces. We interviewed 2 of the applicants and we've got 1 more scheduled tomorrow. So that's moving along. So anyway, that's all I have.
Ready for business, commissioners?
Yeah.
First item I have is a motion to approve the annual firefighter relief act declaration of state insurance commissioners and officers.
I don't know if they have any questions. This is just like Greg talked about, this covers our insurance, life insurance policies for the firefighters. As well, it's part of our retirement for the members. It's just something new that we started last year that the state requires us to do, is just to make sure you say that we're in compliance. I turn stuff into Jacob yearly. I'm starting on all that paperwork. But this is just saying that we are a firefighters association, still a fires relief association, as well as a fire district. So.
Any other question?
Will I make a motion then to approve the annual firefighters relief act declaration?
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the annual firefighters relief act declaration. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please sign, and there are 2 copies that happen. Next, Commissioner, the motion to approve the tax recommendations.
I move to approve the tax, was that corrections?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the tax roll corrections. All in favor? Aye.
Chair, please sign. Excuse me.
You're gonna date this.
Commission need a motion, on the Riley County Employee Action Plan for Betty Hughes, Customer Service Rep One, Public Works Department, Separation of Service. Maggie Housen, intern, Museum Department, Separation of Service. Robin Imea, intern, Museum Department, Separation of Service.
Make a motion then to approve the employee action forms as listed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the requested employee action forms. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three, please sign. Next, Commissioner, a motion on Riley County Position Action Plan for the PRNEMP and Emergency Services Department.
Move to approve the Riley County Position Action Form.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Riley County position action form. All in favor? Aye.
Please sign. Changes in the minutes, Commissioners.
We missed number 5.
Oh, yeah, I did. I forgot about that. Received an email from City Manager Danielle Doolin regarding this request. And it was sent to myself and Director Pete to ask respective members if they want to have that discussion. Director Pete sent an email back saying the law board members.
And that hasn't been discussed. I told Director Pete that I didn't feel it was appropriate since it's an independent board and we have representatives on that board.
What are we discussing?
I don't.
Well,
know.
then, well, but if you look at, if you read that understanding, it doesn't apply in, because it talks about the working with the hospital, says they have dispatch, we have dispatch, all these different dispatches which have been consolidated, talks about the hospital has the ambulance service and how that coordinates with everything
Mhm.
else. So, I mean, I don't think it needs, and that's what I saw, I just need some updates to it.
Yeah.
The major corrections, it's just clarifying dispatch. I thought, did you look at that? Did you?
Is that?
Yeah, I looked at that. I'm not so sure they don't want to talk more broadly than just that. I think they kind of want to talk along the lines of what you were wanting to talk about, Commissioner McKinley.
Oh, about what, how it
How
works
far
in
we
the
go out,
county.
yeah, how
That'd be
it's going to continue.
Yeah, I took it that they wanted to talk about budget. And that's what she had said. It was the first email I got, something about budget discussions, and that's why I said that's a little premature. We have a meeting
Yeah.
Monday or Tuesday, so I don't
But
know.
we've never talked about budget development before, so I think it's more broad than just that. My assumption, there are no details in the email.
I need some details before I could say yes or no to the meeting.
Yeah, just find out what exactly, but like I say, I can see there's the agreement needed updated, kind of referred to things that weren't there anymore.
That's
And I
this
think
one.
that's all we need. Yeah.
I don't think it was regarding that necessarily. I
Yeah,
just think
that's
that, that was a little background is all, but I will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find out what, what they want.
What they want, and you know, we're having a city county meeting this afternoon. I was kind of surprised that, I mean, you'd think they'd bring it up then.
Yeah, it's just strictly the city county. You could go this afternoon, but.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah.
Director Pete misspoke.
It really is a city county because regarding budgets, the law board doesn't look anyway, and regarding the coverage.
Right, yeah,
You know,
so we can't change the event.
yeah, so that's kind of interesting, I think, and
Yeah.
then on how the law was in that.
Yeah, because she didn't actually send the email directly to the law board. She just,
Did not, but Director Pete said that the law board was in favor. No.
not at this point, but, you know, they didn't say, they didn't talk to us about it.
What are we discussing?
I don't
I need to know what we're discussing before I can say, yeah, let's discuss it or no.
Yeah,
Inquire.
Right.
Okay.
Any change, minutes, commissioners?
I didn't see any. Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve the minutes as written from, I guess that'd be the last meeting, January 12th meeting.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes as written from the January 2nd or January 12th meeting of the Raleigh County Commissioners. All in favor? Aye.
Unattended agendas of the commissioners. Any items for next week's press conference? Yeah, in person at 9:00.
You just want to mention, I just want to make sure you got me.
Yeah.
I have a clue. Maybe next week too.
Because I think, let me see, that images is supposed to be done at noon, so I could probably do like 1:30.
You want me to grab the boards?
Yeah, because I'll be over here at the EMS building for those interviews, so I'll just come over here if that works for you, because I can come down there.
It's Zoom.
Okay. So, it's easy. I don't work.
I know the meeting.
You want the meeting, so.
Well, I'm already here, so I'll just pop in. I think it wasn't. I just kind of wanted to kind of get the direction of what it is you need and how to communicate the best for what you need.
Okay,
And just get an idea who we're supposed to support the mission of the organization. Use the rest. So, just kind of integrate.
think about 1:30. Does that work for you? Does that give you enough time?
Yeah, I'll just.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because that gives me 30 minutes, because we always kind of discuss things after we meet. Okay, executive speaking yesterday, so that's interesting. We'll probably decide.
Thank you.
Also. Yeah. So. It's not what I've done. Still works.
Yes, we will put them in the, for averages. They want to learn. She's trying to get. Library.
The derivative strap that's going on. They must have had it and then flew out. It's not.
Yeah, they say. Your us. You get well.
I'm trying. Lights.
What? Really? Yeah, the problem, like. Other bugs go around the. Goodness, it just came on.
Right. She starts shooting a little bit.
Yes.
Thank your father made it great.
My son-in-law said he went to Poland for Christmas about a year, so he got sick over there, blaming it on me. So I haven't even touched it. They said, yeah, you got it from your wife. But it's in the air.
They got all those dividers from COVID.
From COVID.
Sure, they're still in storage or something.
They're still, they're for sure.
Especially in this. A little bit there, so.
Close.
It's awfully close.
Never seen a two-seater pumper.
Well,
That way you get there with the fire.
Get that factory. Call.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although we did show up there right after five. Somebody careened through the roundabout, the roundabout, the set child.
They did?
Oh, yeah, we got there right as it happened, right after it happened.
all three of us.
We were all.
Even above the river.
Yeah, I made it through there before.
Yeah.
I guess. Yep. Vehicles still there. Oh, yeah, she was in the middle of everything, oil everywhere, because it.
River their water.
Well, yeah, rip the sign down, just. And I hadn't seen it before, but the wheel completely separate, it's like tire and wheel, so you just pull that part off, then they have any of the spokes still, center clear them.
This show.
I don't think she'd pay attention, yeah.
I think they'll wait.
But I mean, she had been, the sign was. It was the center side and the center divider, they could probably 10 or 15 foot on the other side, they were laying down the hill, like it flew a long way.
I saw a guy that did that years ago with the 1 mile corner there. He was heading to the east.
Yeah.
And I had to go that way some reason, and it was dark, and I drove off and down in the ditch, there's Nelson's pasture, there's the pipes down, like the plummets. You could see the officer said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Someone's going to be a just put right through that intersection."
You have all kinds of Anderson and Max, and they don't slow down for Anderson, the intersection, they go into the hearings, we've had that several times.
I'm like, "Are we shooting down?"
Morning, Commissioners. Anna Burson with the Riley County Appraiser's Office. I'm here with a request to refill sales verification clerk position. So the sales verification clerk position will become vacant effective January 31st. The appraiser's office has completed multi-year review and reorganization of duties and responsibilities to address the operational demands, the workload distribution, and the statutory valuation requirements. As part of this effort, multiple appraisal career ladders have been formally updated, including our appraisal support 1 through 3, residential appraiser 1 to 3, and our commercial 1 to 3. During the reorganization, an agricultural position was reassigned from our personal property to residential due to a vacancy in the residential and the predominantly agricultural nature of the workload. While this adjustment addressed critical ag responsibilities, including the mandatory bi-yearly verification of agricultural parcels, it resulted in a reduction of residential data collection capacity. Despite shifting certain administrative duties to the appraisal support team, the loss of a residential field positions created an ongoing operational gap. The appraiser's office is requesting authorization to refill the sales verification clerk position as a residential appraiser 3, 2, or 1, based on knowledge, skills, and abilities of the selected candidate. The position is essential in maintaining the statutory compliance and service levels. Continued community growth, sales volume, and permit activity require sufficient staffing to ensure timely and accurate valuation work. The appraiser's office further requests authorization to consider qualified applicants from the current residential appraiser recruitment. If the vacancy is not filled through the applicant pool, approval would be requested to post the position following the completion of that initial hire from our current open position. The position is an existing budgeted position within the appraiser's office. Filling this position will not result in additional budgetary impact. My recommendation would be to, we are requesting approval to refill that vacant position as a residential appraiser 3, 2, or 1 at the earliest opportunity, considering the qualified applicants from the current residential appraisal recruitment. And if that vacancy is not filled through that pool, approvals would be requested to post the position following the completion of the initial hire.
Move to approve refilling the vacant position as residential appraiser 1, 2, or 3, and consider recruitment within existing applicant or existing employees.
Okay, I would second that. It's been moved and seconded to filling the vacant position as residential appraiser 1, 2, or 3, considering qualified applicants from the current recruitment pool, I guess. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners.
You got position open.
Yeah.
And then review that. So the sheet goes back to the office.
Next semester, yeah, first speak at 9:10.
Yes.
So while we're waiting, if you want to look, I can flip through some of these pictures.
40-some pictures.
Cleaned it. They sure have cleaned up nice.
That's like the tanker part of it. So that's, they can be a tanker and just haul water and dump it fast. So that's why it's a dual purpose truck.
Oh.
How many miles about?
90,000.
Is that like a low for the pump trucks?
For its age, it's about right. Yeah. I wouldn't call it low, but it's, for a big truck, it's not real high either. So, yeah. And they're on the interstate, so there's it's a lot of like highway miles. It's not like in town as much, I don't think.
2007.
Seats is our.
No, but the cabs are, and so Catherine's rode in one of these style of trucks before. I think the 112 truck is basically the same cab, the one we just got last year.
Yeah.
And so they're really roomy, actually.
Are they?
Compared to the pictures, like they're actually a lot more roomy than you think they are.
Yeah, liver bag.
Does that have the horn button on?
Oh, yeah. Yep, yep. And this would be a truck that would go to the parades. And it would go down there, so it would come up for the parades.
Yeah, this would be at the station 115 at
That.
Yep.
Collinsville by the old piano store. Where the piano store you see.
All the equipment come with it.
No,
Just so I think ladders, pike poles, hard suction, just kind of the main stuff, which is okay. We've got all the other equipment.
It's in pretty good shape.
So yeah, and I can explain more. Yeah, they were very confident in the truck and
that's Texas, so it doesn't see road salt.
that's a big thing. There's not a bit of road salt, you know. It's just north of Houston, like a half an hour or so, I think, just it's right on, what interstate did we say it was? Just north of Houston, just right, main interstate.
Right back.
No, but we'll see. It's a taller truck. And so
It may not-
finding the correct trailer is gonna be, that's gonna be the shipper.
Deciding factors.
Yeah.
Long drive.
It's 11 hours just in a regular vehicle, it says, so.
Jacob, yeah, job for you.
I'm sure if I sent the volunteers, if I sent a couple volunteers, they would probably be happy, but we'll see.
That's it for our.
That's what Rich asked earlier. We want to get to the fire before it starts.
But it should take 11 hours to get back.
License sirens all the way back, right?
But looks like it's got pretty good tires, but it's hard to tell from. pictures.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to verify all that stuff.
Those have to be pretty expensive.
I mean, the front tires are probably the most expensive part because they're a little bit wider. The back tires aren't that bad. They're just 22.5, a common truck tire. So
Big truck tire.
big truck tire, yeah.
Never bought one.
Yeah, like I said, not too bad, relatively.
Yeah, relatively speaking.
Well, I've never bought a big truck tire.
Yep.
Pardon me?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Morning, Commissioners, Russell Stuckey and Doug Russell with Riley County Fire District Number 1. As you know, we maintain a list of our trucks and the trucks that need replaced, and So we keep our eye on the used fire truck market, and when something pops up that fits one of the things that are on the high end of our need list, we keep an eye out for those. Obviously, new trucks are just way too expensive and not feasible for us to really seriously consider. We found this truck, last week, and it really fit a need that we have at Station 115, which will, if we are fortunate enough to get this truck there, that we would take the truck that's at 115, the Konza station, and then take that truck down to Zeendale, and then we'd get rid of the truck that's at Zeendale. So it's one of the highest priority ones we want to retire. So this truck is in Texas, and they have it priced at 225,000. Our plan would be to probably send Doug down to go look at it, evaluate it. But if we could get purchase authorization to not suspend that or less, if he can negotiate the price better, we've tried to negotiate it better, but if you approve that purchase authorization, then we have an out-of-state travel request. So, but if you don't approve the purchase authorization, then there's no need to ask for the out-of-state travel request.
Yeah, so it's got current, so it fits the bill. We're limited with space on the station, so it really fits that bill and checks those boxes of fitting in the station, having more water. That station runs a lot of extrication calls, so to get a pumper tanker that has storage space is high priority, and so this fits all those boxes. And it will retire out, like Russell said, one of our probably highest used trucks previously before we bought it. It's a truck that came from Washington, DC. So it's got a ton of hours, a ton of miles, and just kind of nickel and diming us here and there. And so this would kind of move some stuff around, get a truck that's still good, usable to a station that needs it. And then this truck would give us a long life for us for sure in its capacity.
So what do you do with the old truck that you're gonna retire? Does that go?
Purple Wave
Purple Wave.
usually.
Wave?
Yep. Yep, next time the county has an auction, it'll just be in the county auction on Purple Wave.
And I will say we've been pretty successful in selling trucks there. We've gotten good prices for trucks, and it's worked out well. Just put them on Purple Wave.
You're gonna go to offset some.
Yeah. Correct.
Mentioned what was needed for this to approve.
Do what?
I mentioned.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't tell me what you wanted for sure. Don't you worry.
They brought snacks.
Yep. I can have snacks on Monday. You want biscuits and gravy? Do you want cinnamon rolls? You just want cookies. We'll get you cookies. Okay.
Jacob, if you could close yours.
They're deferring to Monday, you're not gonna be here.
I close the eating now.
I know.
Well, I would move to approve the fire department authorization to purchase the pre-owned Ferrara, not Ferrari. Pumper tanker not to exceed 225,000 with funds from the fire department capital outlay fund.
I would second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve the RC, the Raleigh County Fire Department #1 staff authorization to purchase a pre-owned 2007 Ferrara tanker not to exceed $225,000. On favor? Aye.
So next commissioners, we have travel authorization to go evaluate that truck.
I'll go ahead and move to approve the out-of-state travel request for Doug Russell to travel to Willis, Texas for the purchase evaluation.
I would second that. So moved and seconded to approve the out-of-state travel request for Doug Russell to travel to Willis, Texas for equipment purchase evaluation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please sign.
And the third item we have is As you know, the 1501 deputy chief truck was in an accident during the ice into December. We've looked at state contract pricing and availability. And we've also looked at trucks available on the lot. And we have three different prices for trucks available on the lot that are in the packet there. And this, as far as the state contract pricing, the one truck that we have that we would like to purchase that's on lot locally, they have very near the state contract price. The problem with the state contract price trucks is their delivery time is 4 to 6 months. And obviously that truck, it's the truck Doug drives, gets really busy here really soon in grass season. And so it's just not very feasible to wait 4 to 6 months for that to get delivered. He's driving an old EMS supervisor vehicle right now, which we're glad to be able to drive right now, but we would like to request to purchase the 2026.
You got the quotes over here?
Yeah, it's one, isn't it? Yeah, this is not.
Yep.
Wheel drive.
So this is over here at Murdoch in Manhattan.
We're not.
So this would be the final invoice price. So I talked to Darren at the county shops yesterday, and the last truck that they bought on state contract was like 49,700. So this is right in line with that price.
And it's not black.
And it's not black, it's white. It
That's
shows
just
up
the
on their
picture.
code as white, as black, but is white.
It's a white pickup.
And so it fits the bill for us. It's basically just a newer version of what was wrecked. So, and we did work with Brittany and got the totaled
Insurance.
totaled stuff, all that. We got all that back a couple days ago. So it is totaled.
That move to approve the purchase in 2026 Silverado 2500 HS from Murdoch Manhattan, the amount of $50,388.90. Be funded by the insurance proceeds, balance from Fund 183.
The second tab. It's been moved in and seconded to approve the purchase of a 2026 Silverado 100 HS from Murdoch Manhattan. In the amount of $50,388.90. Be funded by insurance proceeds, balance from Fund 183, and for us to sign the purchase authorization. All in favor? Aye.
You sign
Thank you, Commissioner.
And just a reminder, our banquet Saturday night, if you're able to attend. Glad to see you.
I put it clear.
Okay.
I think I put it on my calendar, and I had other stuff already.
We'll have a good meal. So that's for sure. It'll be good.
So Vivian, this one. It wasn't like scrolling through the next one.
We got an exec session next, so we got time.
Assuming, of course, it's been with the general absent. Yeah, absolutely. That's what you're very fun to see. But there. No, you want to see.
Jacob, how much time?
I'll take it all the way till, oh, sorry, it's 9:50.
9:50.
9:50.
Start with the same 30. So it's gonna be a quick one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's still taking a little time, so 9:50, and I down there. It's supposed to be.
You want to go to 9?
Yeah.
You make we can adjust it if you want to.
See that email from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's off, okay.
Yeah.
We'll have time to look at slide.
Yeah, there you go. I said, as soon as you should be on the emails that we receive from BG, but I'll make sure that if we get any, you're honest.
Yeah.
Let you know.
Yeah, I have emails today. I have, but I saw hers.
So you don't need you, I'm sure they gotta get all their ducks right.
They should be able to get it all together. Maybe it'll be actually.
I don't know. Man, like I said, you know, we're not gonna be faithful in the department, so it's at the forefront.
Yeah,
I feel very good with it.
whether it be out to bid yet or not.
Yeah.
12. Yeah, I don't know what all they have to do. They should be pretty good.
Out there.
You think they'd have a chart, you got to revise that as much as they can. They have a community deal end of January.
What's that?
Oh, they have a community deal.
Oh,
Last Wednesday. Yeah, I probably. Yeah, because we're playing, I don't know, it's going to be great. And we're playing.
Oh,
So you will be there
yeah. Right.
to practice.
When I develop that letter. So that obviously was pricey, right? It's 4 months, at least months ago. Pretty straightforward from the beginning. I thought, they out. We get to do. So, and I have this one. We have done more than our share of our due diligence on this.
I know.
I can't say I feel something, no.
Plenty to do.
Nah, right. Yeah.
You know, about people, I have somebody visiting for me.
Right.
This is it.
But yes.
That's for it. Right.
Be there. I'm very married, but now since you're, you know, they're all very. They're really big, it's. And so. We might do it to their day of this. Which, you know, so they may necessarily refuse. Influence necessarily in this case.
It's only 3.
Yeah, and then if, you know, and if they choose to refuse, then you'll know that too.
To talk to the son.
I just sent it in.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah, then I told them that. And that, so, yeah, I shared with them, they were on. So I should be getting that anytime that we're focused.
Maybe, but we're down to 2, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
3.
Yeah, that was just pretty much, yeah.
So. I could go near school.
The other twos at least have a possibility.
Possibilities.
Yeah, I don't see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's true, yeah.
Pretty
Yes.
adamant though.
He was definitely, yeah, very, yeah. He probably would get upset. I mean,
Says an escort.
and it's something I've definitely will be communicating to you so that they can. And it's ultimately their guys, everything they're doing, and not just saying we want to be hands off, but I know we can handle that. So them in the next capacity to some extent. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, this could be really. I don't know.
Hey,
You know, it's catch them in the right mood. With the right drugs and stuff.
I am, it's a bit of.
Just don't know if he's that competent. So.
Right. I certainly have my chance.
Lot of fun.
It's, I love my house.
It's so much fun. Past 5 years.
Yeah, I bet. And.
I've
just
got a
think,
stack
you know,
of stuff about like that in my other office.
So do you remember how long this construction was supposed to take?
About a year.
Year. It was not making it done.
Could be less. It could be done by this time next year.
Wow.
Wouldn't that
That's
be wonderful?
crazy. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Oh, that, you know, the infrastructure is gonna be taking lots. It's like, I don't know, the lagoon will too, but I think getting all that infrastructure is gonna take.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Never been involved in it. It's fun.
First for me too. Wow, here. Hey, good. Yes.
I didn't hear about the drinker.
You know, I quit when I had a shoulder going. And it's gonna slowly, I guess, we're getting to that.
I didn't even know before that you were.
You know, you've got to stand in touch.
Yeah, my son had his shoulder done a couple of weeks ago. He was thinking he's still got his thing on, but and he went to the game last night, but then he said he wanted to leave early before anybody else because he didn't want to get bumped. There was plenty of room to spread out. There wasn't a lot of people there.
This is holy. And we were sitting next to a group of guys that were going to go to the game and they wait till almost 7 o'clock before they left.
It wasn't hard to get in.
Yeah.
Guess he said stuff with Anna and said, I didn't realize what that because I had several meetings with him. I should have helped him more. I didn't realize that he was because he's still got kids at home to help.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And he said, you know, I said, Mom, you must have had a lot to do. And she goes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
But they had physical therapy yesterday. The first few of them had just been, you know, just kind of stretching. He did stuff. And he went in and she said, "Well, you're going to do a little of your stretching stuff." Just, he thought, what am I going to do? I get up, just and then I'll stretch it. And she moved this all up here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, that had to hurt.
Yeah.
My goodness.
All right, shall we?
Excuse me. County commissioners, including Chairman Foki, Vice Chair Ford, Chair Foki and Commissioner McKinley with Jacob Hansen, County Councilor, Attorney for the Commission, recess into executive session pursuant to the non-elected personnel matters exception of the Kansas Open Meeting Act in order to discuss a performance matter of non-elected personnel. Open meeting to resume in chamber at 9:50.
I would second that. It's been moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for the reasons previously stated under the non-elected personnel matters exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. All in favor, say aye.
Commissioners, your meeting is live.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that. So moved and seconded, the board come out of executive session. All in favor?
I move the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with consensus reached in executive session.
I would second that. It's been moved and seconded to move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session. All in favor? Aye. That's a green one. You want a green one?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Because there's a blue one here, a red one, and a purple one.
Green's fine.
Oh, yeah.
What's the time on this? I've got the bid opening for the University Park wastewater lagoon facility. John's.
Do we need to make a motion for that? It shows on here
To do what?
to,
No, that's after they're open. First bid is from Buyer Construction. Acknowledge addendums 1 and 2. Yeah, there is a bid bond attached. Right. Total bid, $1,980,090.20. Start date of 4/1/26 and working days 125.
it was 198,000.
Yeah, 1,000,000,
Oh, 1,000,000.
1,980,090.20.
Two.
Start date.
Okay, do I have to reread this?
Yeah, did you please?
Okay. Is from Buyer Construction. For, bonds here. The total base bid of, $1,980,090.20. Proposed starting date 4/1/26, 125 days. Which would complete 6/36.
Next bid from Bellette Construction, Goddard. Got addendums 1 and 2, the bids on. So bid $3,214,918.60. Start date of 3/30/26. And 150 working days plus material lead time.
Okay, we have a bid for the University Park wastewater lagoon facility from Milwaukee Construction Company, in Goodard, for $3,215,918.60. There was a start date of 3/30/26 for 150 working days plus material return.
Bids from Ebert Construction of Nego. Knowledge of them 1 and 2. There is a bid bond attached. The price $3,347,931.65. Start date of 7/6/26, 265 working days.
Okay, bid from the Ebert Construction Company out of Omego with all the proper paperwork attached. Total base bid of $3,347,000, $347,931.65. So starting date of July 6th, 26 for 265 days.
Got the engineer's estimate, SMH Consultants. At $3,354,294.90.
Okay. All right, the engineer's estimate for this project, $3,354,294.90.
I move to refer the bids to staff for evaluation and recommendation.
I would second that. It's been moved and seconded to refer the bids to staff for evaluation and recommendation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sure. 10 o'clock. That's it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. So. Well, there's also nice thing you can say, but it's really fun. Yeah, it's a little bit of academy, the 90. One thing we do, so it's with the label of money.
Daniel?
You're right.
Good morning. So, January, of course, we're kicking off the big year. So this is a big month for me. And I normally don't like reading off my paper, but I want to make sure I get none of this wrong because I'm hoping it gets spread. But this is the month our VITA tax preparation begins.
For the 21st year, Riley County K-State Extension is once again offering the free tax preparation service through the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. This volunteer service is available to low and moderate income households and active or retired military personnel. Our trained volunteers help those in need make sure they can file their taxes accurately and with confidence. Appointments are available on select dates from January 28th through April 15th, 2026 at the Manhattan Public Library Collaboration Space. This program, although it runs through our office, is sponsored not just by us, but the Manhattan Public Library is a great partner for Space, the IRS, and with funding support from the Kanza United Way. And I'm sure you guys have heard about this program because it's one we like to brag about. With our volunteer help, our provider program last year prepared a record 1,089 tax returns, which helped local households access $1.62 million in returns through 1,208 hours of service from our volunteers. So the official statement there, but of course, I'm excited. It's a lot of work right now, but we got new volunteers. We got people calling in already to get things scheduled. So it's always nice when we have a big program with people calling before you even put anything out saying, are you guys ready for us? Yeah, it's like, oh, you're looking forward to this. The second thing I want to tell you guys about what's been going on is a while back I came and I talked about John Job and the 4-H program starting the Leaderships and Training program. This is the new program for middle school age, which is also sometimes forgotten. You got a lot of programs for younger kids in 4-H and you got a lot of programs for older kids, but it's that middle age that can kind of need that bridge. So our 4-H agent, John Job, along with volunteer coordinators, have started the LIT training program that I talked about, I think is back in October. Well, as an example, this last Saturday, the LIT program had their second meeting and they focused on hands to larger servers at their January 10th meeting. At this meeting, they had 23 4-Hers there who welcomed community member Aaron Estenbrook to talk about his 4-H experience, civic engagement, and a passion for community and country. At this meeting, the LIT members had their talk with Aaron, broke into teams and spread out across the community where they filled blessing boxes in the area. Following that, they had a leadership activity where they had team building and leadership bridge building competition. And it was all put on and helped with the 4-H ambassadors. So in addition to you have the 4-H part of the LIT activity, you have the 4-H ambassadors who are the older kids who are getting their own leadership experience by helping to put it on. And that was the second meeting. The third one coming up pretty soon, they'll be having a K-State professor teaching a mealtime etiquette. In case you wonder, we thought this might be a good lesson for middle school youth who are entering high school and coming to age is how to properly eat at a meal and with proper etiquette as they're getting ready for their future. So just a couple quick hits on things that are going on with the VITA coming up and the LIT. You know, I was excited about it. I was excited that John and the volunteers are getting it going. So I personally, as a former 4-H agent, the fact you can get 23 middle schoolers to show up on a Saturday, just after Christmas break for an event, to me shows that they're excited about it and enjoying this process. So those are two highlights going on. Is there anything I can answer for that or about other things happening in our office? And I guess one side note I'll mention is Lindsay Shorter did have her meeting yesterday up at Farmhouse. Previously, I'd mentioned about the coffee conversations going on. And I guess there's a full house as they talked about predator issues with livestock and on the farm. So glad to hear on her sake that it was a full house. I think it was around 20 people showed up, filled it up. And unfortunately for me, they ran out of pie, so there's nothing left over for me at the end. She needs to plan better. So. I forget I'm recording. I probably shouldn't be saying that. Anyway, so no, exciting times. So
Thank you.
all right. Thank you.
Should mine be 10:15?
That's no, we were. Well. The third one years. Yeah, that's one time. That's not gonna look better. The social process, the P's blend, so the probably has. And at different stages, at different times, he's telling me. That's a lot of coordination. Yeah. It's true, go back to them. Yeah. Yeah, well, and actually, I would say, I don't know if there's anything necessarily stopping that you're like, you need to provide them with it.
Right.
So, you know.
Well,
Sure.
you know, it's more straightforward, it's
How much each item, right? So, yes, but that would be kind of a minimum. You wouldn't be penalized for providing more than what you're. Yeah, that's fine. It's there, I know. You. I think that is that if it's based on, I suppose, because everybody, especially if it's getting that. That's not. Hey, there's everything else, don't they? Yeah, there's no way I can see it. He will show saying.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can afford you would and also stuff that you know, we can.
Yes, and I don't think it, I kind of, I shall do it.
Yeah. Good job.
He was fine. I think we should prepare this. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
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 Bless you.
Yes, sir. Up and down already? Think you want what he has, whatever he can do.
Probably doesn't.
Oh, no.
He wasn't sick. We were reading today last night in the New York Times. All of that say that it's full, so then you can go through the frame, whatever you use, like, where you're not, full, but you're gonna see like, you just like, it's the other one. He started. Yeah. Yeah, he can something, he play, you made me go. Right.
Yes. Good morning, County Commissioners. Brian Peak with the Riley County Police Department.
I'm here to give you an update on the Riley County Police Department itself. First, I'll just begin with some ordinary statistics and year closeout statistics. So for part one crimes, again, the crimes that you think of when you, or most people think of when they hear law enforcement arrests, violent rapes, robberies, things to that, the more violent crimes. For part one, we were 8% below the 5-year average for December. Overall, for the year 2025, we were 16% below the 5-year average, which is an all-new 5-year low, which swings that. But for violent crimes reported, we were looking at, I believe, just at about 100 that were reported there for that month. For part one violent crimes overall, for the year, we were about 2% or 1.7% below the 5-year average. There were 11 aggravated assaults or batteries, unfortunately 5 sexual assaults, 1 robbery, and 1 homicide reported during the month of December 2025. As of right now, we do have the individual who was suspected of the homicide in custody. For robberies overall for the year, we were about 21% below the 5-year average. There was 1 robbery that occurred in the month of December, which is consistent with our monthly averages for aggravated assaults and batteries. Overall, we were about 5.7% below the 5-year average, which is also a new 5-year low. There were 11 incidences of aggravated assaults and battery. Of those 11, 7 were domestic related. For property one, part one crimes, for December, we were about 17% below the 5-year average. This included 4 burglaries, 4 larcenies from motor vehicles, 4 auto thefts, but 0 arsons. Overall, for property one crimes, part one, we were a new 5-year low, about 18.4% below the 5-year average. Structural burglaries, none of the burglaries were domestic related. There was an arrest made in 1 of those burglary incidences that we've had. So for the month of December, there were 4. But overall, for 2025, we were 38% below the 5-year average. Again, this is also a significant 5-year low for burglaries within our jurisdiction. For vehicle burglaries, another 5-year low, we were at 4. And overall for the year, we were about 51.5% below the 5-year average, another 5-year low. Motor vehicle thefts, we had 4 of them. Year to date were 62. Of the thefts, 2 were believed to have been committed by 1 person. 1 was a stolen construction work truck. Another one was a rental that wasn't returned. So at this time, 2 of those 4 vehicles were recovered. And as of December, or for the year 2025, we were about 20% below the 5-year average, another 5-year low for the department. DUIs, we were unfortunately 25.6. I'm sorry. DUIs, again, any DUI is bad, but we had 12 for the month, but still we were about 38.9% below the 5-year average, another 5-year low for the department. Traffic accidents, we were higher. For the year, we were 14% above the 5-year average. So that's going to be one of the things we concentrate on moving into 2026. And of those, we had 134 for the month of December. And in 2024, for the month of December, we were at 127. For preventable traffic accidents, we were 9.2% above the 5-year average, which is a 5-year high. So again, as I mentioned to you all, motor vehicle enforcement, traffic enforcement will be one of our priorities for next year. So we were, again, for the number of those preventable traffic accidents that we're scoping, 1,002 for the year to date, and we had 85 for the month of December. And then for our mental health related calls, we're still, again, working on the stats and what that looks like, but overall, we were about 0.3% below the 5-year average, with the nexus of mental health related calls being at around 60. But again, there's nuances to that. I would say that number is probably a conservatively low number when it comes to mental health related calls. So outside of the statistics, there were 3 things that I wanted to ask for, or just prep the commission about. And then, and then one of those three things is, again, get your feedback. So that would be, what, if any, outside of the normal things that we're working on for crime reduction within the county, are there any priorities or concentrations that the commission would like us to look at for 2026? Okay, then we will be, as I said, mentioned before, traffic enforcement will be one of the things that we're working on. But we will be presenting to the law board next week on some of the priorities that we already have listed. And if anything, it may jog your respective memories to, hey, I also want you to focus on this, and we'll definitely add that to our strategic plan. I also did want to, my understanding is I think that the commission had already spoken about an invitation for budgetary discussions. I just wanted to, again, to alert the city commission or the county commission of a proposal that the city wanted to potentially look at an opportunity to speak. The information that was forwarded back was to maybe have the initial discussions from the law board's perspective with the city and potentially the county at the joint county city meeting that's supposed to be coming up here later on this month. So just want to tune into that, or tune you all into that.
It's today.
I'm sorry, today.
Yeah.
My apologies. Yes. So that was something that when it was reached out to us to ask that question, it was something said, instead of bringing it to us, bring it up at the joint legislative meeting. And then the final thing is that we have put on the agenda for the law board for discussion next week is a discussion for potentially having law board meetings at the county once the meeting rooms are finished, to see what that looks like. So the law board will be engaging in that conversation next week. Other than that, I have no other things to report of significant milestone. Are there any questions that you all may have of me?
No.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, sir.
Good weekend.
You as well.
You should Bob Isaac at 10:30.
When they can go to work. A lot of organizations get causing citizens.
I was trying to go the images and these are talking about. I'm supposed to. The LV so. I was trying to do a few years ago, it was really seems like. It's. The great time. Right, we did this very good. This will go. I have two ones and. That's some sort of. I'm doing inside. It was so. There's all that. Actually, just do. And then if they don't, hell. Yeah. That's a thing, I think that's what we have, but I don't know if it's. It's not like it's hard. I wouldn't need months. Especially, then of course, anyways, it's like something that is. Whether it has the one, I mean, it's as a protection. That's the. Well, that's what. Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Morning, Commissioners. Bob Isaac, County Planner. Today, we have Yajit Chalabi has made application with Riley County Planning and Development requesting approval to replat lots 49A and 49B of Sam N. Rogers subdivision with a single lot. The subject site is generally located approximately 200 feet west of Hoyle Road on the north side of Rogers Boulevard in the Sam Rogers subdivision. This residential development is located on the north side of the city of Manhattan and just east of Tatarack's subdivision. The subject property was platted as lots 49A and 49B of Sam N. Rogers subdivision in December of 1957 and is assessed in its entirety as a single parcel. The site is developed with a single-family dwelling, excuse me, and prefabricated storage shed built circa 1968 and a garage built in 2011. The applicant wishes to construct an accessory structure. However, the Riley County land development regulations require the accessory structures be on the same lot and or parcel as occupied by the principal structure. Essentially, the replat allows for that to occur. The property has been subject to county zoning since 1958 and was zoned residential as part of the zoning conversion process of 1974. It's currently zoned SF2, single-family residential with no variances, special uses, or conditional uses associated with the site. County Fire District Number 1 will continue to serve the site. Excuse me. The nearest county fire station is the Tuttle Creek Fire Station located at 4120 Highway 13. The subject site is located within 5 road miles of a fire station and with a very good ISO rating of 5, which is within 1,000 feet of a fire hydrant. This is the final plat showing the new boundaries of the new lot. This plat also shows the existing utility easement between the 2 existing lots that will remain in place and not be vacated with the plat. The replat became necessary to allow lots 49 and 49B to be combined to satisfy certain requirements of the sanitary code and to also allow the property owner to construct a garage. On January 5th, the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board unanimously approved the request to replat lots 49A and 49B of Sam N. Rogers subdivision into a single lot to be known as Sam N. Rogers Fifth subdivision, as it was determined to meet the minimum requirements of the Riley County Land Development Regulations, Riley County Sanitary Code, and Articles 26-5, 26-8, and 26-9 of the Manhattan Development Code. Staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners acknowledge the approved final plat of Sam N. Rogers Fifth subdivision, accepting any easements, rights of way, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat. That's all I have. It's fairly straightforward. If you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to field those for you. That's correct.
I mean, there's several, not for better.
Yeah, it's essentially a technicality. In fact, the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board approved the request on the consent agenda. Yep.
I move approve resolution 01156, approving Sam Rogers Fifth subdivision plat and accepting the street right of ways, easements, and licenses as shown.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 01156, approving the Sam N. Rogers Fifth subdivision plat and accepting the street rights of way, easements, and licenses as shown to be dedicated on said plat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote please sign.
And we have a Mylar behind the wall there. For you to sign as well. Your leisure. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what number I am?
Move to recess as the Board of County Commission and convene as the Board of Health.
I'll second that. Yes, it moved and seconded to recess as Board of County Commissioners and reconvene as the Board of Health. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, good morning. I'm here this morning to request to apply for the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation grant, and it's to support the community baby shower. As you remember, I was here in November, I believe, to ask for the core SIP grant that also supports the baby shower. It provides pack and plays, mostly all pack and play as the funding can go towards. And so we were awarded that amount. They did have a lot of applicants this year, so we didn't receive as much as we had asked for. However, they did come back last week and ask us if we would want to take on an additional $800 to what we were awarded, because some of the other awardees weren't able to meet the requirements. And so we said, sure. So they're going to amend that contract and then send it over for signatures. So this is just kind of to supplement that. Last year's expenses were around $10,000 when it was all said and done. And so we apply for this grant to kind of offset that cost of the pack and plays. The fiscal impact, if we receive it, if it's awarded, it will cover 100% of the cost and provide critical funding for the event. Rental fees, safe sleep sacks bundles, and educational materials. And then I also wanted to ask for approval to purchase food or light snacks, refreshments for the baby shower with the P card. So I was just going to wrap that into the request to apply as well. So if we receive the funds, then requesting to be able to use some of those funds to purchase food on my P card. So recommend to move the submission of the 26 GMCF grant for Greater Manhattan application to support the community baby shower and accept the funds if awarded.
Move to approve the submission of the 2026 GMCF grant for Greater Manhattan application to support the community baby shower and accept the funds if awarded.
I would second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve the submission of the 2026 grants for the Greater Manhattan application to support the community baby shower and accept the funds if awarded. All in favor? Aye.
Do I need a separate approval for the purchase of the food?
We need probably. Well, I would also approve using some of the funds as outlined, purchase light food and refreshments for the attendees.
I would second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve the funds for light foods and refreshments for the attendees as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. And then the second thing that I'm requesting today is approval for the continuation of the OPEI grant contract and a letter of intent. So we signed a contract in 2022, and that was extended for 3 additional years. And so now they're renewing the contract period again. So it will start in 2026 start in 2027 and go into 2028. And then with the ability to renew for 3 additional years. And so with that, we just have to let KDHE know that we are wanting to renew the contract. And then once they receive the letter of intent, then they will draw up the contract and then send it over for signatures. And included in that was the letter of intent that you guys have signed every year, basically just outlining that you are wanting to continue, that we have the funds and how what funds are being used to pay for the match money. And so I kind of outlined what our MCH services do, and that we have 2 social workers, our bilingual navigator, some of our clerk time, and some of my time, I think, are under those salaries. So the total funding would not exceed $680,000, and it comprises of $340,000 from KDHE and then $340,000 of match funds from Riley County. The total increase is $40,155, but this is covered. This is due to increase in salaries and program costs, and then we are required to do a 50% match. So the county's increase would be that $20,077.50.
Now, is this in your budget? or not?
Currently,
Yeah. 26.
so OPI is in our budget and approved for 26. So this would be for the fiscal year 27, which starts in July of 2026. The state fiscal years run different.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. So if you remember, OPI is always the first to come out with their grant information. And so last year in January, we came and although we don't know the specific salaries exactly yet because we haven't done our 27 budget for the county yet, this is up to that amount. So if it's less, then of course we would adjust that based on that amount.
I move to approve the new outreach prevention and early intervention agreement will carry out same conditions as prior contract.
I would second that. That's been moved and seconded to approve the new outreach prevention and early intervention agreement, which will carry forward with the same conditions as a prior contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please sign.
Great. Thank you so much.
I don't know if this added that before we sign the OBEI letter of intent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe amended just to add that.
I'll go and motion to have Chair Foki sign the OPI letter of intent.
I would second that for amending the motion to approve that the chair focus on the OPEI letter of intent. All in favor? Aye.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
At least in the motion box, that's that letter of intent, put it in there.
Yeah, I didn't put there. I just say it on question.
Yeah, and if you listen to Laurel, you'll never hear a lot. Very seldom.
Oh, I got two. I got an extra two.
Yeah.
Oh, John.
So we would extend it 5 minutes since we're basically.
I'm okay with keeping it as it.
Okay. I move the county commissioners, including Sheriff Loki, Commissioner McKinley, with Jacob Hanson, County Councilor, Attorney for the Commission, and Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources Director, recess into executive session pursuant to the non-elected personnel matters exception to the Kansas Open Meeting Act in order to evaluate the performance of the county councilor. The open meeting to resume commission at 11:20.
I would second that. I would make them, I would, all in favor?
You didn't do that.
Well, I know,
Exhibit B.
B, okay. So moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for the reasons previously stated under the non-elected personnel matters exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioners, your meeting is live.
Move the Board of County Commissioners from that executive session.
I would second that. We moved and seconded that the board come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye. Move the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded that no binding action was taken during the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We need to move recess as the board of health.
Yeah,
You guys have met with motion.
and maybe just to clarify that, that was functionally supposed to happen.
Okay.
In the executive.
Move as move to recess. We in effect recess as the Board of Health before this executive session, but we're now reconvening as the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay, I would second that. It's been moved and seconded that we reconvene as Board of County Commissioners. Is that enough?
That'll work.
Okay. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. Amanda Webb, Planning Director. So I have two items on the agenda, and I'm wondering if it's permissible if we swap the order real quick, because the second item will should just take a minute or two. And then we can talk all day about driveway standards. So if that's okay with all of you. Okay. Oh. Okay, so thank you for that. So the comprehensive plan update, of course, we've been working on the last few years. We did, of course, finalize that project. That update is done. It's a ghost. However, as we're kind of finalizing payment for everything, I discovered that you folks might remember when we first started the process several years back in 2023, you allocated $50,000 from economic development funds for the project. We couldn't get a consultant to assist us with that amount, so we just went ahead and started in-house with that amount. We spent about $2,478 while doing it in-house on advertising, surveys, mailing, printing, those sorts of things. And then, of course, the following year it was determined that we need to get a consultant on board to kind of help us to the finish line of this project. So you folks allocated $150,000. Of course, that wasn't on top of the $50,000. That was $150,000 total. So when I went out to, when I issued the RFP for consultant services, I kind of separated in my head that we had already spent nearly $2,500 as part of what was the original $50,000 for the project, and went out to, we issued, I want to say went out to bid, but issued an RFP for $150,000 for consultant services. So fast forward, we're wrapping things up, paying final invoices. I've been working with Michelle and Brittany the last couple of months, just making sure we're all on the same page. Needed the final invoice from Stantec, and their proposal, of course, came in, as you folks already know, at the 149,928. So they were just a little bit under the 150, and we needed to wait till the last invoice to know exactly where we were. So long story short, basically where we are, we're a little over $2,400 more than the $150,000 that was allocated. So I just need to, again, request that additional amount basically from economic development funds, just to finish that up and be able to pay Stantec their final invoice. So that's just what I'm here to talk to you folks about and kind of get that little extra bit authorized.
I move to approve the additional $2,450 from the economic development.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve the additional $2,406.67 from the Economic Development Fund to complete the comprehensive plan update. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then we can get everything paid and be all done with that. So I appreciate that. Okay, so next item is what everybody is here for. It's the discussion for driveway standards. So in your car, just kind of gives a little bit of background. We do have existing driveway standards, and they were put together end of 2021, or I should say they were finalized, if you will, end of 2021. They'd been worked on for several years prior to that. And then they were officially adopted as part of our land development regulations that went into effect the 1st of January 2022. So again, we've had driveway standards, they're in existence, and they've been there for several years. So in the discussion there in your report, there are a few distinctions I want to make. So when you look at the definition of a driveway in the land development regulations, it's everything from the right of way to the structure, basically. But there is a bit of a internal distinction we make, especially public works, because we do entrance permits as well. And that's the first 25 feet. So they take a look at that anytime there's a new driveway or new, access need from a county road. There's an entrance permit that's submitted, and we coordinate with Public Works to have that taken care of. They've been doing that, and that's ongoing. It's a little bit different than what we're talking about here today. And as it is currently, the driveway standards only apply to new driveways. That was I don't know if you guys remember, but that was a big point of wanting to make sure we were clear on that when we adopted these in 22, that these only apply to new driveways. So if there is a driveway there already, these would not apply. People would not have to, if they're not building something, they wouldn't have to come through and come up to the driveway standards, basically. So ultimately, the driveway standards were created, as you can probably imagine, for safe ingress and egress. And really, it's all about making sure those emergency vehicles can access a structure. They can get to you if you need medical service. They can get to you if there's a fire, that kind of thing. So really, at the end of the day, that's what these standards were put together for. So currently, the document specifies that the county engineer, Public Works, or the designee will review and approve all new driveways. Again, making sure that they meet the standards on the ground, and then we can issue our building permits or our plats or whatnot based on that confirmation that the driveway meets the standards as outlined in the code here. So recently, staff from, and I think everybody's here, well, I guess EM, basically staff from EMS, EM, Public Works, County Councilor, and Planning Development met because there's just been some concern about the timing, the need for timing, and how many there are, just about fitting in who can do those reviews and approvals, basically. So we all did agree, which we were all glad for, that we all agreed that the driveway standards are important, and we don't want to recommend or request they go away. But what we did talk about is modifying who would be the quote unquote responsible party for making sure that they are installed correctly on the ground before permits and plats can be issued, basically. So what we talked about was that emergency services, emergency management, I still get you guys confused. It'll be much easier when you're just the one here soon. Emergency management staff would be able to go out and take a look on the ground for most of these standards, especially if it's a flat, there's no slope to it. That's pretty straightforward. That's pretty easy. They've actually done that before. They literally, and Bob can clarify this if I'm speaking wrong, they literally have taken their truck out there to make sure that it can go, essentially, when we've had a question. It doesn't happen every time, but when we've had a question, it might be a little too close to, kind of a drop off, if you will, that kind of thing. So they have the capability. The limitation is if there's any kind of slope, that's generally a surveying thing. You need some equipment to help you determine how much slope there is. And there are limitations in the criteria about how much slope there can be. And then there's also surface type of material, and then surface of material, actual pavement and gravel. So those are some of the limitations EM would experience. So what we talked about was emergency management can go out, do their part, and then as needed, consult with county engineer, public works, to make sure all of the pieces are met, essentially. And anybody else jump in? Missing something or misspeaking. The other thing, so driveway standards apply to both platted and unplatted. So anything that's subdivided or not subdivided, these are going to apply. If you have a new driveway, it's going to apply regardless. So what we talked about was, of course, a surveyor prepares a plat, and they're going to put on where the driveway is going to go on that plat map. So what we talked about is if it's a parcel that is being platted, subdivided, et cetera, that the surveyor can come out when the driveway is put on and verify that it was done properly, which makes sense because technically they're the ones proposing for it to go there. They should be able to come out as part of the whole process and verify that it was done properly. So really, this would only apply to new driveways on unplatted lots. So we have it partially covered with surveyors doing platted lots. We're really only kind of looking at unplatted lots, if that makes sense. And there's not really a way to say from year to year. I can't really forecast how many permits we're going to get from year to year. Like this year, we're going to have 10 or this year, we're going to have 20. It's nearly impossible to do because it's really driven by development who, if somebody wants to develop a vacant lot, put up a new house, it also needs to be non-agricultural. So these do not, I need to make that clarification too. These don't apply to agricultural properties or uses. So if I'm doing a driveway to my house that I got an agricultural exemption for, these don't apply. So it's only for non-agricultural purposes. And that's how, because these live in our land development regulations, no zoning, those sorts of things apply to agricultural uses, and that's a state thing. So we just wanted to come before you folks and talk about, again, some of the challenges we've identified, get some input, what you're thinking about that. Because if we do want to make a change, or you do direct us to make a change, we'll go through the code amendment process as we've talked a lot about recently. A few other items to talk about. Actually, I'll pause for a second. I've thrown a lot at you. If you have any questions or anything you need clarification, or if anybody in here wants to add anything.
I did it quick, but Public Works is always in the entrance for, it says for 25 feet, that 25 feet from the edge of the road or from the center, or so there it goes within the right. Does that 25 feet go within the right of way sometime? I mean, outside of the right of way, sometimes that would
John, you want to answer that?
Basically, it's from the edge of the road to the front. It is in the right of way, the 25 feet cover, you get 60 foot around, 80 foot around.
Oh, okay.
That would be something, but we would look at how that approach meets up with the road, site distance on the hill, those type. We're looking at that of the drive, the roadway, and what, and the entrance, the vehicle coming out of that will help that sort of thing.
But you're sort of more, once they get on the property and they get up.
Yeah.
Down where.
This is the whole thing, the whole stretch from the right of way from the edge of, right of way all the way up to structure. So if it's 300 feet long, it's the whole 300 feet.
But you're saying there's ag exemption, even if the house.
Yep. Anything that's agricultural use or agriculturally zoned, it would be exempt.
Saying just strictly an ag property, but for the house, and you also want to
Yeah.
have access to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question too.
Yeah, because it has been determined as so it's an agricultural use on the property, like how we would issue an exemption, like for a house, for example. Of course, there's an application process that they go through with our office. And they're saying, I have let's just say a cattle operation or some sort of other operation that warrants me living on the property. It's not conducive to my operation for me to not be on site. I'm calving, I'm, this or that kind of thing. It's not just I'm growing a crop and I need to sit on my front porch and stare at it. It's, you're actually needing to interact with your operation. And so again, they submit, there's again, a whole application process with materials that they would submit to us, and we review with a couple of our planning board members to make sure it meets the agricultural exemption requirements of our code. And then we would allow for that house to be built for that agricultural operation. So in that sense, we are seeing it as part of the agricultural use. So the driveway standards would not apply.
But what happens if there's, we've got 25 feet and then there's nothing and there's just, and we can't get to the house if there's a medical emergency. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Thank you.
If I may, I mean, it's state law.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't.
It's not just
It's
us.
a very heavily litigated world. When it comes to agricultural exemptions in states, make it very clear that you cannot regulate. So.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand, ag operations, but there's a house there. I think there's it's required to be able to get there.
Yeah.
And I guess you can still, you can't require them to do that, but you just tell them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We strongly recommend. Yeah.
Okay. But you can say, this, if anything happens, the fire truck can get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you just, we can make recommendations.
We can make strong recommendations, but yeah, we can't, as Jacob pointed out. Yeah, it's not just us as in Riley County saying, it's that we can't get around. So, yeah.
I can't.
Please.
Staff, when we go to these calls, they will have those conversations with the homeowners and say, hey, it was very difficult. We had to, push our cot from X point because we can't get into here. Because it may be that it's muddy and it's not well maintained, maybe that they have other stuff in the way. So our crews will have those conversations and a lot of times people say, oh, I didn't realize that your trucks are heavy, they're big, and the fire trucks obviously are much heavier than ours. So a lot of times they say, oh, I didn't realize that. I'm used to it. So, but we'll have those conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Good.
Thank you, David.
I appreciate the clarification.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, as David kind of pointed out, it would be nice if we would require, because really it is for the benefit of the homeowner, but yeah, we have that limitation, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, any other questions or thoughts on what we've talked about so far? Are you comfortable with the idea of modifying who evaluates on site?
If they're all comfortable with managing stuff.
We've had good conversation and we'll go through some education with Public Works about how to do that, because we've had some conversations. We can, take a shovel and we can dig down and see how deep it is and then how solid it is. But if there's something we have questions with, then we'll certainly, bring John or one of his staff in to help us. But we're comfortable that we can do that, most of the time.
Thank you, David. Okay, so we will work on that portion. And then while we were talking about this, a few other things the group mentioned that we wanted to get your thoughts on, get your input on. So a couple pieces related to, again, that right now they're only required for new driveways. One of the EM fellows brought up, if there's an extension to, if you already have a driveway there, but then all of a sudden you're needing to extend the driveway, basically where there's not driveway now, you're putting additional driveway in. You're not necessarily doing anything with this existing however many feet, and we're not requiring you to do anything with that many feet. We'd only be requiring you to do something with the new piece of the driveway. So a couple of things we talked about, clarifying if there's a driveway extension that they would apply to that portion of the driveway. But then the question was even further, well, if you have 100 feet of not very good driveway, it's existing, but then all of a sudden you extend it and you have 100 feet of driveway that meets the standards. Well, I can't get to that second 100 feet anyway, if that makes sense. So the question becomes, do we want to have some sort of requirement for existing driveways? Now, the distinction I tried to make in the staff report was this isn't for if I'm just a home, I'm not doing anything to I'm not building, I'm not adding, I'm not doing anything where I need a permit. I just need to add some more gravel to my driveway to reinforce it or repave or something. That's different. We wouldn't make people bring up their entire driveway to standard if they're not requesting a permit. But if they are requesting a permit, would we want to consider having people bring up their existing driveway to standard?
But if they're just extending the driveway for whatever reason, do they have to get a permit to do that?
It's not a matter of getting a permit for extending the driveway. It's
They'll put a new house.
yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If I want to put a shop now 100 feet past my house, I already have a driveway to my house, but now I want to extend my driveway to go over to the shop that I do need a permit for the shop. And of course, would make you, have that access out to the shop. So that portion would in theory have to meet the standard, but the rest of it wouldn't. And the rest of it could be inaccessible. So.
Yeah. And again, to review that, then you can, like on the others, you can make the recommendation, tell them, this is fine back here, but we can't get there.
Right. Yeah, we can. We can.
Like I said, but people don't even realize it, that,
yeah.
Yeah, well, you're England Sandfire,
Yeah, the difficulty is though, we don't find that out until there's an emergency. Yeah, I mean, that's the other side of that coin. So, correct.
And that could be something we could add to a permit, better language than what I'm just going to come up with off the cuff. But, we're not requiring the driveway standards, but here's what we recommend. And that was also another part of it that the folks from fire mentioned. Is there some way we can do some disclaimer that even if you have your driveway meet standards right now, let's say you were required to meet the standards, we came out, everything's good, here's your permit, you need to maintain that driveway. 5 years down the line, David's crew might come in and it's not been maintained. So it's not so much that we're going to come out every year, that we're recommending to come out every year and say, you need to make sure you bring that up, but making people aware that if you don't maintain it, there's still the chance that we might not be able to access your property. So it's yeah, and I appreciate your comments because it's really about an education thing. Some of it, like we've learned that we can't require, but it's strongly recommended for their safety.
Yeah, but it is, because I remember there was one just west of Island that, and I happened to be going that direction whenever they got there, the trucks were all out on the highway because they couldn't get into the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize, over time, you don't realize how much your driveway breaks down, first of all, and they don't realize how big our trucks are and how much room we need, So, we have them up throughout the county where our crews stop and go, man, we're going to just scratch the heck out of our truck, because the trees overhanging and such. And that's why if you look at our trucks, our ambulances, you'll see the scratches on top. That's exactly what that's from. Those trees that overhang and such that we have to squeeze through. And then we have to get out somehow. And part of this too is to help make sure we can get out of that, out of the residence as well. So, because we do get trucks stuck, because we're, the 4-wheel drive will do the best I can, but some of these driveways are absolutely unmaintained. And we can have a heck of a time getting out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can always table this too. You don't have to make the decision.
Yeah.
The part about changing it to who's reviewing it, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Requiring the others, I don't know about that, I don't know.
Sure.
Or whether we just, like you said, to add something saying, unless this other part doesn't make it, you need to whether we require. I'm sure some will haul on it and they can bring it up, but if they think about it, it's not for us, it's for them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
We think that it's part of our job to educate yourselves and then, but, you know, to help them understand too, through this forum, you know, that this is an issue. I mean, yeah, as Amanda said, you know, the last half was great, but getting to that is an issue. So, because I really don't think that they understand and they don't think about it. You know, they're worried about whether they can get their car, their truck, their farm implements, their trailers, whatever, in and out of there. And that's what they think about. But nobody, you know, they don't think about us until they need us.
Nobody expects to call the ambulance.
Exactly. Yep. Absolutely.
I hope we don't.
Yeah. So how would you like us to proceed? As Jacob said, if we want to have more discussion on the second part at a future meeting and you guys can give some consideration, we can certainly do that.
Yeah, I think that was fun. I think I say make the changes as far as who's checking out and stuff.
Sure.
Adding the driveways on. We can put that on hold for now until we think about it.
Just have it on the agenda in the future.
Yeah.
Then I'll bring you here to hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's our set agenda here. But we do have a joint city county meeting for,
What's that?
we do have the joint city county meeting for. I
Might move to adjourn after the joint city county meeting at 4 o'clock. Minutes.
I would second that one. So moved and seconded to adjourn our meeting after the joint city county meeting at 4 o'clock at Manhattan City offices. In favor? Aye.